Some of the easiest sounds to mispronounce in American English are the same sounds that exist in your first language. Stop, watch, lock. It's the ah sound. What a lot of students are doing is using a sound that has a higher placement with less airflow. Stop, watch, box. When making the ah sound, you want lots of air to come through your throat, and you also want your tongue to make sure it is down towards the bottom of your mouth. What tends to be hardest with the ah sound is linking it to consonants. Ah, ba, box. Ah, ha, hot. Ah, na, knock. A quick note, some of these you will hear people pronounce also with an aw sound. Calm, calm. On, on. The sound that most confuses students with the ah sound is the sound, your schwa. Ah, la, lock, look. Ah, ba, bog, bug. Admit it, you're afraid to say the word beach, but don't worry, I want to help you out. This E sound exists in most languages, but it's a little different in American English because you're going to project from a lower position and you want more air to move through your throat. To practice this, try to do like an E sound from your first language and then send it down 5 times. For instance, a lot of languages have something more like an E sound, so let's send that down 5 times. E, 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 E. E. In general, in American English, you're going to use more of those lower registers. E, E, E. The other major difference will be that American English has more breath. So one thing you can try doing is try to take a deep breath in, but keep your shoulders down. And then exhale and try to get that breath moving through. E, E, E. Now you may be able to achieve a natural E sound, but there's a problem still because when you add consonants, sometimes your E sound may shift. Seen, seeing. Hear the difference there? Try not to add a vowel before consonants. Seeing, seeing,
Seeing.
seen, seen. Can you hear the difference there? The first time my placement stays low, but then the second time my placement rises because maybe I'm using a higher placement for my end sound. Let's just say the vowel 3 times, making sure the vowel stays the same each time. E, E, E. Now some words. E, E, E. E, C, seen. E, E, E. E, D, deep. E, E, E. E, B, beach. A sound that the E is commonly confused with is the short I sound, or eh. Try to pronounce these words differently. Each, itch, eat, it, read, rid, beat, bit. Too soon, too soon.
Hear a difference?
The second one sounds more natural, but it might look different than you expect. A lot of people, when they go into American English, they think the oo sound needs these really round lips, but the reality is that you can actually have straighter lips, and it's actually going to help you get a more natural sound. When people round their lips, they also tend to raise their placement and get really tense, leading to an ooh, ooh type sound. Our goal, as always, is to try to get as much air through as possible. Take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, try to say ooh 3 times. Ooh, ooh, ooh. In addition to that, we're trying to get a low placement with a low projection. Try to take your ooh sound down 5 times. Ooh, 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 ooh. Do, two, sue, blue,
How about words that have ooh in the middle?
soon, tooth, rooms, food. You want to be careful with these because some people are adding a vowel sound before the consonant. Soon, suin, room, ruin, dune, doin. However, there is one situation where you do want to add a vowel before the consonant, and that is when the oo is followed by an L. Rule, cool, fool, school. Rule, full, cool, school. Make sure you're not adding like an E sound before your oo. Two, pollute, pollute, duke, But perhaps the biggest point of confusion with the oo sound is with the sound. Booth, book, Luke, look, tooth, took. Good, should, would, could, cook. Can you say that sound like in these words? Let's take a closer look. In fact, the word look has it too. This sound where the back of your tongue is high and the front of your tongue is down. Something else that can be helpful with this is making sure that your lips do not round. You want them to be straight. So like In fact, if you're still having a hard time with this, you can even try smiling a little bit, because that's going to help make sure that your lips stay tense enough. Good, would, could, cook. Now the problem with this vowel is there's a couple other ones that's commonly confused with. Book, buck, took, tuck, would, was. If you're finding that schwa sound to be difficult, take a look at our earlier video. The other sound is commonly confused with is the oo sound. Hood, who, took, tool, should, shoe, took, tuck, tooth, would, what, woo, should, shuck, shoe. The cookbook I took isn't good. Good. Took isn't good. Cookbook. The cookbook I took isn't good. One sound you want to be very careful of is linking this with a L. It's not going to shift, unlike with the oo sound. Pull, pool, full, fool. Would you say this car is fast or fast? The S sound in American English doesn't exist in a lot of languages. It's when you basically put the front of your tongue and the back of your tongue down, and the middle of your tongue goes high. Notice you won't be able to see my throat because my tongue's so high. Ah, ah. Compare that to the ah sound, where you should be able to see farther back. Ah, 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 ah. Now we do have some good news. There's only one letter in American English that makes this sound, and it's the letter A. For instance, in these words, pa, past, fa, fast, ca, cat. However, you want to make sure that you're not pronouncing an sound. Add, odd, rat, rot, sack, sock. But you also really want to make sure you're not making an sad, said, past, pest, laughed, left. Notice that when I'm making that S sound, my lips tend to be straighter. The back, middle, and front of my tongue are also going to be higher to make sure that I'm blocking more air in my mouth. Sad, said, he's sad. Bag, beg, she begged me for a bag. Slapped, slept, I slept until she slapped me. Man, pan, can.
After more than 12 years of teaching English,
I think I finally found the sound that is the most difficult to pronounce in American English pronunciation for English learners. Plan, sand, man, can. It's this ass sound that links with the letter
N.
It's different than a normal ass sound. Sad, sand, mad, manned, tack, tank. What's often happening when this ass sound comes before a nasal is that your tongue actually slides back. You still need the back and the front of your tongue down, but that middle of your tongue is going to be raised and everything's going to shift this way. Right before the nasal, that N or M or NG, you want to do a heavy breath out of your nose. So like, man, can, plan.
If you find that you say the letter N like
Well, that's a sign your placement's too high. You want to get more of an sound. See if you can take your N down 5 times, like You want those lower ones, so it's not man, it's man. The other thing is making sure enough air passes through. If you're doing a very tense ass and like well then you're not going to let enough air pass through, and it's going to sound too tight. You want more of an like man, plan, sand. The other challenge with this sound is making sure it doesn't turn into an sound, like in best or get. Tan, ten, rank, wreck, pan, pen, sand, send. I plan to send the man to bed. Man to bed. Plan to send. I plan to send the man to bed. You know, there's so many letters in English that are actually dependent on one vowel sound. F, L. You need to firstly have relatively straight lips. The back, middle, and front of your tongue all need to be high. You're trying to block air in your mouth. You close your mouth a bit. You can straighten your tongue so it touches the sides of your teeth. And then lastly, you want to make sure you're getting enough air through your throat. The problem with the S sound is it's often confused with other vowels. Lit, let, lat, late, sit, set, sat, sate. They read, that is dad left late. Left late. They read. They read, that is dad left late. Test, taste, west, waste, less, lace. A, ray, rain. Do you hear how the vowel shifted on that last one? A, rain.
What many English learners are doing
Is they're taking the A sound and changing it right at the end. We don't want to make the move too strong. It's not A, it's A. Our goal is going to be say the A sound with a more open mouth position. Your mouth can be wider, the front of your tongue could be a little high, and the back of your tongue is down to let as much air pass through as possible. A, ray, rain. A, pay, pain. A, lay, lake. When we add an L sound, it's going to break into two parts. Pay, pale, ray, rail, say, sail. With the A sound, you also want to be careful when it finishes with a sound like the letter N, because what a lot of students do is they get very, very tense and tight and block the air at the end. Rain, rain. The A is also very commonly confused with another vowel sound. Sail, sell, whale, well, tail, tell, pain, pen, go, goal. Oh.
What's wrong with that?
Well, actually, when you listen to a lot of native speakers say the O sound in American English, you're going to see this. Oh. Notice that my lips actually go straight. I know a lot of people are taught
That you're going to start with your mouth wide and then close into this small round O shape. O.
But the problem with that
is when you do it, you tend to raise your placement and cause things to get very tense. Oh. We want more breath to come in at the end. You still have a couple letters you want to watch out for. Own, shown, shown, known, known. Also watch out for L's. Goal, pull,
R's.
or, core, sore.
Make sure you're not saying ah.
Low, law, row, raw. For the O sound, my mouth's going to be a little bit more closed. For the aw sound, my mouth can be a little wider. Let's start with the test. Live, sit, hit. All of those use a sound called the short I sound, but it is commonly confused with the E sound. The very tip of your tongue is going to be down. The middle of your tongue is going to be a little high, and the very back of your tongue is down. And you, as always, want to make sure you're getting enough air flowing through. The sound should sound like eh. If that's still difficult, you can try biting the sides of your tongue very, very gently. See if you can hear the difference. Sit, seat, live, leave, hit, heat. There's another problem though. A lot of people confuse the I sound and the sound. Sit, set, hid, head, wrist, rest. If you see a letter I by itself, it almost always makes an I sound.
In fact, the only word I can think of right now that makes an E sound with the letter I is the word pizza.
Combinations that tend to be very difficult with the short I include I plus E, city, pretty, really. This is his hit, quick fix. Do you hate TH sounds? I have some things that are going to make them a lot easier to say though. You may have been taught to pronounce a TH sound with the tip of your tongue, right there, stuck in between your teeth. It's like, which works. But the problem is there are some combinations in English that actually become
Very
difficult to say when your tongue is stuck in that middle position. So we're going to go over 2 alternatives that are going to make your TH sounds a lot smoother across words. The first is that you want to put the tip of your tongue against the back of your top front tooth. So instead of th, you want to have more th. We're talking centimeters of difference, but it's going to have a very big impact on your sound. Thick. Then, this, thin, with a, math and, bathar, loathe it. This is also going to help link specific sounds as well. For instance, that horrible
TH plus S sound. Like,
it just kind of slides up the back of your front tooth. So like paths, baths. If you're still doing that lower position like paths or like baths, like it's
a lot harder.
For the second alternative though, the reality is that the TH sound can also be made with the tip of your tongue against your bottom front tooth in the middle of your tongue making contact higher. Booth, booth, with, path, path, there. The other reality too is that sometimes the TH sound actually just kind of disappears. You can see that these sorts of reductions are extremely common when an N sound comes before a TH. And then, can they, in there. It's hard with the TH because a lot of languages don't have it, but one sound your language.
Best, west, vest. Can you hear the difference between those? Let's take a closer look. Hey guys, this is Geoff of Fluent American again, looking at some sounds that are especially helpful for Spanish speakers, Russian speakers, Italian speakers, Arabic speakers, and lots of other groups as well. Even if your language has some of these sounds, oftentimes 2 of these can get confusing at least. So that's why we're taking a moment just to look at them. Let's start by looking at how to pronounce each of these sounds individually, starting with the P sound. So for the P, all you're going to do is press your lips together and then release. Make sure that your teeth are not making contact with any part of your mouth. Again, it should sound like p, p, like in pest, pest. One thing too, in American English, P's are very, very strong. So for instance, a famous test is to hold a piece of paper up against your mouth and see if you can make it bend a little bit. If the paper doesn't move, try to get that p sound a little bit stronger. Same thing with the letter B, like b, b. For the B sound, what you're going to do is press your lips together, but this time make sure your throat is vibrating. So again, like b, b. And again, for instance, like in best, best. The big difference between a B sound and a V sound is that your top tooth right here is going to make contact with your lower lip right around here. Okay, so you want to have your top tooth make contact there, like V, V. And again, your throat should be vibrating, like in vest, vest. Compare this to the W sound. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For a W sound, what you're going to do is you're going to have slightly round lips and no contact with your teeth. No contact. Keep your teeth away from your lip. It sounds like w, like in west, west. So again, all those pest, best, vest, west. Now that we've reviewed all of the basics for the sounds, let's now do some minimal pairs. I'm going to show you some words, then see if you can pronounce them correctly. Pest, best, west, vest. Pest, best, west, vest. Peer, beer, weir, veer. Peer, beer, weir, veer. Pie, buy, why, vi. Pie, buy, why, vi, pair, bear, where, very. Pair, bear, where, very. Hey guys, by the way, if you want to know if you're pronouncing these and other sounds correctly, you should be in our Telegram group where we do practice every single day. Find out more information at patreon.com/fluentamerican. Okay, let's do a test now for your listening. I'm going to show you a group of words and then say one of them. See if you can identify which word I'm saying. West, west. Veer, veer. Pie, pie. Where, where. Pest, pest.
A, O, I. If you say vowels like that, you will not sound natural in American English. Here is why. These vowels are called diphthongs. Diphthongs basically are sounds that consist of two vowels that come together. Your language has them and so does English, but there's a couple reasons why they're going to sound different in American English. Firstly, because American English doesn't actually always treat them as two sounds, but as a single sound. And some of you are going to attack me and say,
No, Jeff.
You're wrong.
It's always going to be two sounds.
It's a diphthong.
but what I would say is that you want to be careful in American English because what a lot of students do is they use the corresponding sound from their first language, which often is ending with a much higher placement and sounding a lot tenser. A. This exists in a lot of other languages, but it often sounds more like a. Notice how I'm really getting some dramatic movement in my jaw here. When I say dramatic movement, I mean I'm moving it like a couple centimeters, maybe. But I'm also finishing with a much tenser sound too. A. American English really just wants that A sound. Try even just saying it 3 times. A.
Like, hey, get over here.
Now, I did mention the word placement. What exactly does that mean, though? Placement refers to where you are projecting sounds from when you talk. For a lot of languages, the placement tends to be higher, whether talking from like right up here in the nasal area, or maybe talking back here, kind of top of the throat, back of the mouth. But American English wants to come from a lower position, almost like you're imagining your mouth is right here. One of the ways you can immediately check yourself to see if you can even do a lower placement is take a vowel sound. Let's use the A as an example and see if you can send it down 5 times. A. In general, English is going to favor those lower ones. A general note I see with students when we do an exercise like that, wherever they end up on about the 3rd one or the 4th one down, that tends to be a pretty good spot for American English placement. However, having a low placement by itself is not enough to achieve a natural sounding accent. One of the big differences between American English and other languages, and even other types of English, is the amount of air that is passing through your chest. We want to engage our diaphragm, which is located right around your stomach area. For instance, if you breathe in and then you exhale with a sh sound, one of the things you notice that happens there is you can feel your stomach gradually contracting. We talk more about breath in this video, but for our purposes here, we want to try to feel our diaphragm get a little bit tenser as we talk, and that'll be a sign that we're engaging our diaphragm, because otherwise, you're probably talking through your lungs, and that's giving you much less airflow when you speak. Hey. You can hear when I engage my diaphragm, I get a lot more resonance, warmth, and a lower pitch. Let's now look at some of the most common words for some of the most common diphthongs. A. Play. Day. Place. Same. Game. They play the same game daily. I. Tonight. Life. Right. wow, wow. Might, might. Tonight's life might bite. Tonight's life might bite. Oh, the, the, um, so, over, over. No, no. Don't go over so openly. Don't go over so openly. Oi, point, point. Noise, noise. Toilet, toilet. Boil, boil. Poison, poison. Noisy toilets boiled poison. Noisy toilets boiled poison. What's that even mean? Ow. Now. Now. Around. Around. How. How. Power. Power. Out. Out. However, the power's out now.
Window, Mexico, even Home Depot. Why are so many of my students mispronouncing these words? Are you making the same mistake? Let's take a closer look at the O sound in American English in this video. I strongly recommend that you record yourself and compare how you sound to how I sound here. Window, window, Moscow, Moscow, Mexico, Mexico.
Minimal pairs.
Low, law, so, saw, crow, crawl, choke, chalk. Sometimes doing words by themselves is easy, but seeing them in sentences is a whole other story. So let's take a look at some practice sentences. The coast was just below Mexico. The coast was just below Mexico. Here are also some quick spelling rules for the O sounds. That way you know what to look for. Firstly, the letters OW can make this sound, like in below, in crow. Also the letters OU, for instance, like in dough, or the TH version, though. Learning something new? Let me know by subscribing. Just the letter O by itself can also work, like in so or no. Also look out for the letters OA, like in boat or in loan.
Let's actually take a moment to look at that O-A-N combination, because that can be a little tricky.
What some students do is they add a vowel sound between that O sound and the N, saying something like lowen, lowen. Can you hear that? But it's really supposed to be more like loan. Some more examples. Loan, shown, bone, known. Another combination that can be a little tricky is when you have the O sound plus an L, because typically you're going to get a dark L sound. Not sure what a dark L is? Be sure to take a look at this video. Here are some example words. Coal, roll, stole, bowl.